Hello everybody. I want to thank you for joining me for this Lunch and Learn series on the journey for your transformative life based on the You Transformed book. And so I'm really excited to be bringing these Lunch and Learn videos to you. And one of the things that I want to talk about is the journey itself, right? So this book was created with the concept of 5 different journeys. The journey of your rebalanced life, which is what we are going to talk about today. The journey for your refocused mind. The journey for your re-nourished body. The journey for your reignited spirit. And the journey for your reconnected soul. Now, each one of these journeys is found in this book. And the beauty of it is you don't have to start in one area or the other. Just start where your heart feels naturally drawn to. However, I'm going to go through the videos and the journey and the sections based on the book, so it makes it easier for you to follow. So today, we're going to go right into the journey for your rebalanced life. Now, before I begin this, I want to explain to you also how this book kind of came about. I tell the story that my journey, my spiritual journey, my life purpose journey, it really started shortly after 9/11. And with that being said, I started to delve into more self-discovery type of topics. I wanted to know what made me tick. I wanted to know what my purpose was. I wanted to know why we were here, and I wanted to know how to make the world a better place. Now, in some ways, I went about it a little bit backwards. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of things for others, caring for others, spending time teaching to, others, just spending a lot of time with others and not a lot of time with myself. And around that time, it made it easier because I felt inspired to do that. I wanted to help out. I wanted people to feel as though there was hope and there was reason to live with vitality and purpose and an idea of we really can make this world a better place. Now, I wouldn't change that for the world, ever. It's what set me off on and propelled me into the journey that I am now. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it was that tragedy, that trauma, that event, that world event, that also in some shape, way, or form made me realize that I needed to pull back more and start spending time with myself. And so that's where the book, The Journey of Self-Discovery, comes from. Because as you learn more about yourself, you're able to be a better you for others. And this is about 20 years worth of material, and I have so much more. But I really wanted to get this out there in a way that you could, like little bite size, so that you could sort of, bite it off a little bit instead of gobbling it all up, and being able to assimilate and use it in your daily life. And so I do feel that it's going to expand. I do feel as though it's completely connected to many other parts of heart-centered living, the Heart Light Center, and eventually even the school online. But this is where I wanted to start, is with the journey for you, the self-discovery journey. And so you're going to get the pieces and the parts that I kind of failed to give myself in regards to spending time with you, learning about you, because it is the most rewarding, amazing journey you can you can give yourself. So without further ado, let me just jump right into it. So I will be taking things from the book, and just if you don't have the book, not a problem at all. You can still follow along. If you do have the book, this is a way for you to pose more questions. This is a way for you to go deeper, and it's a way for you to relate to the material in which you are spending time writing, and also seeing me, hearing me right here, being able to kind of guide you through it. Okay? So thank you so much for being here. So the journey for your rebalanced life. So the first thing I really want to jump into is the wheel of life. And the reason why I bring up the wheel of life, I've been using the wheel of life for a long time now. And as a matter of fact, I'm looking right at my Hive plan in front of me, and it incorporates the wheel of life. Several of the exercises, the formulas, and the things that I use in the Hive plan, I have incorporated in my little journey guide booklet. But for me, the reason why I call it the journey for your rebalanced life is because using the wheel of life simply takes the 8 most important areas of your life. It's very easy for us to not be aware of other areas in our life if we are not paying attention to them. And so what I love about the wheel of life is it allows you to look at health and wellness, family and friends, money, your physical environment, your fun and recreation, your career and work, your partner and romance, and your personal growth. Those are the most profound and most important areas in your life that at any time you are in, okay? And as you become aware of what part are you playing in those various spokes of the wheel, then you're able to see how you can balance your life more and bring more happiness and joy. And so why would we want a balanced life? Because a balanced life really does lead to a happy, joyful, fulfilling life. For example, and I bring this example up often because it's the area that I have difficulty in, okay? That area is I spend probably a good amount of time, and I'm going to say some weeks from 50 to 70% in my career, in my work, in my business, in my community, in my center. Now, I'm not saying that's good or bad, but that's a big chunk of change. It's a big amount of time that I spend in that area. So, where am I not spending enough time on a weekly basis? And so, is that my health and wellness? And what does that mean? Does that mean that I need to do more meditation? Does that mean that I need to establish more self-care activities? Does that mean that I need to establish some wellness appointments with various doctors and wellness practitioners? Okay? What about fun and recreation? For those of you who know me, fun and recreation is definitely 50% of my life, at least. And the reason why it has to be is because if I'm not creating something in a state of fun, or in a fun place, in a creative, light, playful place, then I get really frustrated. I get really aggravated. I get unhappy. And that leads to stress. That leads to congestion in my body, in my mind, in my spirit. And that potentially leads to health problems. So for me, I really, really, really have to be balancing what I love to do, what I have to do, what I need to do, with what I want to do. That all has to be balanced with doing it in a state of love and joy and happiness. And so I'm not saying it happens all the time, but I'm saying the more I understand my natural flow, the more I understand my rhythms, the more I understand what makes me tick, the easier it is for me to be able to meet that goal, that desire, and actually that need. So that's what I want to talk about, is I want to go through each one of these parts of the journey in regards to the Wheel of Life. And I'm doing this because in your book, it's the very first thing that I ask you to do, is the journey for your rebalanced life is about looking at the wheel of life. So I'm assuming by now, and if you haven't, that's okay, but I want you to take a look at these 8 areas, and then I want you to score them, right? So on a scale of 0 to 5, how balanced would you say your life is in the following areas? With 0 being not at all, like you don't spend near as much time or even any time in that area, to 5, which is, wow, I might even spend a little too much time in that area. All right? So I'll begin with myself. I'll pick a couple of these. So health and wellness. So I totally told you out of the gate, that's not an area that I feel I spend enough time in. So I would actually give myself a 3, okay, in that area of health and wellness. Family and friends. Now, this kind of varies because family and friends also not only extends to immediate family, but it extends to friends all over the place. And so sometimes our family and friends, it's how do we interact with our family and friends? How do we, we might not be able to spend time with all of these people, but, you know, do we send them a message? Do we give them a phone call? Do we visit them if we can? Do we even write emails or write letters? And I like to look at this as, you know, who hasn't heard from me in a while and who needs my attention. So my family and friends, I actually would say, is about a 4, okay? So it's not quite a 5, and it's not a 0 at all, but it's a 4. So I feel semi-comfortable, but there's still room for adjustment there. Money. Now, what's really interesting about money, and for some reason I feel the absolute desire to tell you this because this has changed my life completely, and I want to make sure I get this in. I have always found it interesting that money is not in the same category as career and work. And part of the reason is because if you'll notice as you do the Wheel of Life, you'll find resistance in certain areas. Like maybe you have resistance with health and wellness. Maybe you have some family and friends there where there's some resistance. And we definitely know that the majority of the people that I work with and that we know does have some resistance and some belief systems around money that creates an imbalance in our life. And so the one thing I have really noticed, because I want to make sure I'm going through all of these videos, or all of these, the one thing that I really truly noticed is, and I might be able to send some more information if you want to know about it, but I started a money journal. And what that means is every single time I found a coin, every single time I got a coupon, every single time the universe gifted me with money, I wrote it in my journal as a gratitude. It was a prayer of gratitude. And I'm not kidding you. I really have found that since I've been in that state of gratitude and I started having like a money journal, that my abundance has definitely increased. My mindset of abundance and my ability to receive abundance has really increased. So, so I feel like those are, so my money, well, it's kind of funny because my money is pretty low. So, so I still have a situation with the money. So I'm actually even hearing it's like a 1. So even though it's increased, I still have an issue with it. And so because of that, that's an area that I have to work on. It doesn't mean that I have to charge more or I have to find ways to get more money in. It means that I have to look at what energy is needed for me to balance out that particular entity, that particular area where I struggle with, okay? So we're coming on to 14 minutes, and I actually want to keep the videos to 15. So I'm going to stop there. I've given you health and wellness, family and friends, money, and then there's physical environment, fun and recreation, career and work, partner and romance, and personal growth. Now, I'm just looking at my notes here. What I want you to do is I want you to write down below the 3 areas of your wheel that you struggle with the most. So this would be either a 1 that you put down, a 2 that you put down, and possibly a 3. But if you've got like 3 1s or, you know, it's the lowest common denominator that you have put as far as how you rate it that I want you to put down in the comments below. Okay? So, so I'm going to wrap this video up. I know it was short, and I want to make them short, but I also want to be able to give you small wins, and I want to be able to take you on the journey. And I really want you to look at your wheel of life and share that information. If you have any questions about your wheel of life, if you would like me to expand in an area, if you want some ideas of, well, how can I put more energy into my physical environment, or how do I balance these things, again, please drop down a comment and I'll be happy to answer that. So until next time, I want you to have a beautiful self-discovery journey. And the next video that I will be posting and that will be available for you will be the journey for your rebalanced body. Okay? All right. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we will talk soon.